alone and possibly dead.
Leonard Padilla, the bounty hunter who helped get Casey out of jail. I understand that you have said today, and we've seen it, that if you'd known all along what you found out after these 400 pages were revealed, you might not have come at all to bail Casey out. Explain.
After reading it, I don't believe I would have talked my nephew Tony Padilla into posting a bond, and I certainly don't believe that I would have come to Orlando after reading that. I mean, I'm still hoping that the little girl is alive, but there's a lot of information in those 400 pages that would lead people to believe something different. And then with these revelations about her mental state of mind, I mean, I place myself in a position of saying, okay, what would I do if my 3-year-old was missing, or even my 16-year-old? And I don't know that I could survive something like that, much less go partying or do any of that kind of stuff. It's just, so this, a lot of these things I interpreted as, well, somebody that she knows and trusts has the baby, and therefore it's not bothering her because she feels confident. I still deep down hope that that's what it is.
Look, I don't have children, but I have 3 dogs that I love very much, and I would never not worry about my 3 dogs if I left them with somebody 10 weeks ago. Obviously, I'd be worried about them. So this whole idea that she's not concerned because she left them with a friend, I don't buy that 1 second, Leonard.
You can beat me up. I mean, I've got 3 dogs at home, and I call home every day and I ask about them. And my 16-year-old, so what can I say?
So you are having second thoughts after all that you've done.
I've lost confidence of a couple of the people that are working with me on this particular situation. I mean, that report was an eye-opener. Definitely an eye-opener.
Fascinating stuff. Let's bring in the defense attorneys Richard Herman and Ray Giudice. You've been listening to all of this, and we'll start with Richard. Are we making too much of this? Is this piling on against this young woman who hasn't had a chance to defend herself, or is this just one horrible revelation, one bombshell after another that points in one very disturbing direction?
Hey, Jane, I put a chart together. I list everything she's done from the time that child went missing up to the present, all the lies, all the boyfriends, everything going on. And you want to talk about a diminished capacity defense? This girl's not just a sociopath. She has no clue what's going on. I'm telling you, I don't believe she can even perceive what is happening, that her kid's missing, what's going on. Her brain is gone.
Ray Giudice, you agree, or do you think perhaps this is a woman? I mean, if you go to anybody and you interview all of their friends, you're going to come up with some dirt. I don't care who you are. People are going to say, oh, yeah, you were partying. I mean, so where do we draw the line? How do we know when we're being fair or unfair?
Well, the conversation tonight has been a very interesting psychoanalyst of this young lady, who we all know is deeply disturbed. But there's been no shred of additional evidence. Those 400-some-odd pages just confirm everything we've known and assumed about this young lady, that she's a sociopath, she's a lousy parent, she's reckless, which may have led to the harm to this child. But there's not one more shred of evidence for a homicide indictment today.
Pat Brown, criminal profiler and author of Killing for Sport. Investigators have said Casey knows the truth. She is the key to answering this. Now, she had clammed up despite more than 30 days in isolation in jail. Leonard Padilla said, I'm going to bail her out because when she has a hot meal and gets a manicure, she's going to start talking. Apparently, that hasn't happened. Do you think all these revelations are going to make her sort of come clean? Oh, my God, look what everybody's saying. I better tell the truth.
Oh, no, not at all, Jane, because she is a psychopath. She's not going to do that. She's going to continue what she's doing because she's hoping to buy more time. The more time that goes by, the more the elements will destroy all the evidence out there, the more decomp will destroy the elements, and she knows she can just sit there and let things go, and there's no sense in her doing anything except wait it out.
Well, Patricia Saunders, clinical psychologist, let's talk about a diagnosis. You just heard psychopath. Cindy's own mother has been quoted by a friend as calling her a sociopath. Another friend calls her bipolar. Experts on this program have said she suffers from antisocial personality disorder. Which one is it, or is it all of them?
Well, I haven't interviewed her, so I can't offer a diagnosis, but people use the term sociopath and psychopath interchangeably. The antisocial personality disorder has some other features where people habitually commit criminal acts or habitually violate the legal rights of others. So I think it's more in the department of sociopathy or a psychopath, as Pat Brown is saying. The hallmarks of it is very shallow emotion, no anxiety, very poor bonding with anybody. This woman has a history, alleged history, of not really having any substantial relationships with anybody. And I fear that she doesn't really bond with her baby.
I have to say, and I say this as a recovering alcoholic with 13 years of sobriety, when I hear her talk about going clubbing after the baby goes missing, what I think about is somebody trying to escape. Because what is drugs, what is alcohol but a form of escape? And then you go to a club, and, you know, there's the music and the noise, and if somebody's running away from a truth that they don't want to face, isn't that behavior they're likely to exhibit as they sort of try to escape from the reality that would descend upon them if they sat alone in a room?
Jade, you're making the assumption of a normal person who's in recovery. Perhaps her escape is from boredom, which is something that the sociopath or the psychopath cannot tolerate. They're constantly seeking stimulation and excitement. They're an empty vessel with very little inside.
Marva Hinton, reporter WDBO Radio, what has she been doing today? Because, you know, when she left jail, she said to her lawyer, I'm innocent, I'm going to walk out with my head high, as the reporters descended upon her during that storm with the umbrella, that famous, now infamous shot. Well, apparently going to and from her lawyer's office, she's running in and out. She's not walking with her head high.
That's right, Jane. It looks like Casey really doesn't want to be seen. She is running to her car. One thing I thought that was very odd about today and very eerie is that Casey was wearing a T-shirt that had little Caylee's picture on it. And that's something that her parents have been doing, but just to see her do it and knowing all this evidence that's come out, it was just very strange to see that.
Oh, my gosh. You know, I want to go back to Richard Herman and Ray Giudice. Ray, this deputy was not fired, as the reporter mentioned, for having the relationship, but for allegedly lying about it. What's the distinction there?
Well, he didn't do anything wrong. First of all, he had a relationship with another adult, consensual apparently, and this all took place apparently before the child came up missing. So he should have came in when he saw her name and her picture spread upon the news and fessed up, and I think he'd still be working.
There is the possibility this child is no longer alive.
Yes, that can be concluded.
All right. And is Ms. Anthony the suspect in that circumstance?
I wouldn't use the word suspect. I would use the word person of interest.